Hi everyone, Doug Lugers Group, brokered by eXp Realty. We're here in the office with Whitney Hall from Acopia Home Loans. Whitney, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Doug.
We get a lot of questions from veterans, and we're actually in one of the most populated areas in the country. Number 2, I believe you told us.
Number 2, state of Florida, yes.
Number 2 for the amount of veterans that live here. So one of the huge benefits that veterans get is the ability to do a VA loan. And I was going to bring in a veteran himself and a mortgage guy, a mortgage guru, and talk a little bit about that and how it benefits any veteran out there that is in the thinking about buying or selling a home. So, Whitney, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Doug. Good to be here, buddy.
Let's talk about the benefits first. What are the major benefits that
I think the major benefit, Doug, is it's 100% financing. So there's no down payment. It eliminates that piece of the puzzle for a veteran. I think the biggest benefit, though, is not only that it's 100% financing, but there's no mortgage insurance involved. So that can be a savings of $200 or $300 in terms of payment. So there's other benefits to it as well, but those would be the two major benefits that I think an agent would be concerned about, or the veteran himself. Typically, we see a little bit of a better interest rate with VA loans as opposed to, say, conventional. But it's a truly amazing product. You know, veterans that have served their country honorably have this exclusive program that they're allowed to partake in, and it's a lot of fun working with these veterans. So, you know, I'll tell you some other benefits to it. They're a little bit more lenient on credit issues. You know, somebody that had a foreclosure or a bankruptcy, for example, VA only requires a 2-year seasoning on that. So if you had a bankruptcy in, say, October of 2016, you'd be coming up on that 2-year mark right now. So you would be eligible for a VA loan. So okay. I think that's a nice little caveat to that program. Very forgiving program.
Okay. I guess one of the thoughts that I get, or one of the myths that I get from my real estate agents, is that VA loans are hard to do. What would you say to that? I
would definitely say the opposite. Because of the loan being, it's forgiving. You know, they're not really strict on the credit. I mean, you either have a deal or you don't. Whether you're doing a conventional loan or FHA, you should know going into the deal whether you're going to be able to close it or not. So I would disagree with that. Everybody wants to go out of their way to make something happen for that veteran, and that's been my experience. So I would definitely say, you know, there's no reason you can't close a VA loan in 15 or 20 days even. So
I knew you had said 30 days before, but 15 to 20, that's cooking.
That's cooking. You know, buyer participation is important, but as a general rule, our average closing time right now is 19 days.
Nice. Okay. What does it look like from a Acopia standpoint in terms of like fees and things from a mortgage standpoint?
As a veteran myself, and Acopia leadership, we've got some veterans in leadership. We do not charge veterans anything. So, and I know there's a lot of lenders out there that offer some type of incentive for the veteran, but we go a little bit further. Not only waive our fees, but we also give them a 0.25% towards their closing costs, and that seems to help out quite a bit. On average, it's about a savings of $2,000, $2,500.
Awesome. Well, since we're speaking on cost and savings to the veteran, what about mortgage insurance?
No mortgage insurance. That's a huge factor. It's going to, in most cases, without not having the mortgage insurance, it's going to allow the veteran to qualify for a little bit more. You know, so, you know, as opposed to FHA or VA, FHA or conventional, you're going to have mortgage insurance unless you're putting 20% down with conventional, and of course FHA. It doesn't matter how much you put down, you're going to have the mortgage insurance.
The mortgage insurance is pretty substantial.
When you start getting into that $200,000 plus range, it gets very expensive.
Yeah.
It's like $40,000, $50,000 worth of purchasing power in a lot of cases for the veteran.
That is crazy. Then I think those are probably the biggest things in terms of benefits. I want to dispel some of the myths that we hear a lot. And one is, you know, usually from the seller side, we'll hear the listing agent, talk about well, my client has to pay more fees, closing costs. Is that?
That's a huge myth. It's a big misconception. I think at one point years ago, if you've seen the VA addendum on the contract, it stipulates that the seller's going to pay for this, that, and the other. There's no requirement for the seller to pay anything. There's a belief that the seller has to pay for the termite inspection. As long as it's not paid by the veteran, then it doesn't really matter who pays for the termite inspection. But I think that it's a very easy loan to close. And again, you would negotiate the contract the way you would on any deal. So that would be my take on that.
Okay, awesome. And then I think one of the other, because you kind of dispelled some of the other myths, but the one that I wanted to make sure that we dispelled as well is, and especially the reason I want to bring this up is because we live in that second home market. Right. So we got a lot of people that have homes elsewhere. So if you're watching, you got a home elsewhere. This is one of the myths that I'm talking about for you. And that is, you can only have one property at a time with VA.
No, that's a big myth. In fact, we do a lot of loans for somebody that, say, lives up north. They've got a VA loan up there. They want to keep that property. Ultimately, we need to get a copy of their DD-214 and see what their eligibility is. You would do that with any VA deal. But yes, we have closed several deals on not a second home, but a new primary home. While they still maintain a residence elsewhere that's got a VA loan as well. So you can have VA loans, 2 of them at a time. But like I said, it all starts with that DD-214 and making sure we know what they're eligible for.
Okay, awesome. Whitney, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Doug.
How do people get a hold of you?
239-471-9829. That's the best way to get a hold of me. 24/7, Sunday night, 10 o'clock. Monday morning, 4 a.m. I'm there.
Can you repeat that again?
239-471-9829.
Awesome, thank you. And for anybody watching, Whitney and my company, my team, we created Homes for Heroes program, and it was just out of that need for veterans or heroes. And when I say heroes, we're talking about firemen, police, nurses, doctors. Those type people, if you're in that field, we have a special program, mortgage program just for you, where we're trying to get you in the home for as little to no closing cost as possible, because we believe that you deserve it. And so if you have any interest in buying or selling a home and you're in that field, reach out to us. My number is 239-398-3131, 239-398-3131. But you just heard from the man himself, the mortgage expert, Whitney Hall from Acopia Home Loans. We really appreciate you watching. I'm Doug Lugers, Lugers Group, brokered by eXp Realty. Thanks for watching.